you so much for being here at this year's annual SKIP program conference. We really appreciate you coming out and trying to find out more about our program and ways in which you can help the students by becoming a facilitator. So I hope after today's presentation, you'll know a little bit more about our SKIP program and exactly what it means to be a SKIP facilitator. Without any further hesitation, let's go ahead and get started. So what is the SKIP program? The SKIP program is the only program of its kind. It is a program where we facilitate group meetings with these students. They are completely voluntary. The student has full control on whether or not they want to attend these meetings. However, we can guarantee that these meetings will be a safe space where the students can come, can share their ideas, can feel open in giving advice and receiving advice based on their particular situation. We have found that these type of meetings help these students with processing their emotions and with talking through the conflict. So we'll get into that. One of the things that sets SKIP apart is that we believe that we cannot stop high school age teenagers from having sex. We know it's going to happen. All that we can do as educators is provide them with the tools and the knowledge and resources that they need in order to prevent any unwanted pregnancies, sexually transmitted diseases, all of the things that come with sex and lack of education. So that is a little bit about the SKIP program. Those are our goals. We also want to give a safe space for these students where they can come to share their ideas, feelings. We want to prevent the sexually transmitted diseases and the unwanted pregnancies through promoting the use of contraceptives. We achieve this through the use of invitational rhetoric. Invitational rhetoric is a practice that works to create a relationship rooted in equality, immanent value, and self-determination. If we want to go ahead and break down those three terms and how we provide that through the use of the SKIP program, we can go ahead and look at the word equality. The reason that this is an important element to creating an environment of invitational rhetoric is because these students will not necessarily feel as open to having these conversations with people whom they do not feel they are equal to. Equal, of course, is a term that can be used in many different ways, but a big element of that is the age factor. We have found that most students are more open and willing to have these conversations with fellow colleagues and students that are their same or around their same age. That is one of the elements to this invitational rhetoric. These meetings consist of the students having these conversations with, of course, a facilitator present. However, the main conversation that's taking place is between students whom they see as equal in their eyes. Another factor to the invitational rhetoric is that of immanent value. We want every single student to feel like their opinions are valued and that they are heard, and we employ different techniques so that they do feel that way, but that is a very important element to invitational rhetoric. Self-determination, that goes back to what I was saying as far as we cannot stop these students from having sex. They know that they are in control of whether or not they do or they don't. There's only so much we can do as adults in this situation. So our approach is allow these students to have these meetings. They're completely optional, voluntary. They're not forced. We're not giving out flyers for the students to attend this. This is basically all word of mouth, and whether or not the student wants to attend is completely up to them. So that also goes into the self-determination. This theory is characterized by the openness in which the rhetoric can approach their audience. We are creating a very open environment. We're not punishing these students for anything that is said in these meetings. There is no such penalty for expressing themselves, or else they would not show up, and they would definitely not show up to be honest. So the last thing we want is to punish these students for anything that they share. That is very important for these meetings, and that is one of the reasons that we make sure the students know that they are protected and not penalized. So that's one of our mottos as well. So who remembers the 2005 movie Yours, Mine, and Ours? Yep, it was a great movie. So here we see an image of her holding what is called a talking stick. And when you are holding the talking stick, this was basically used because of all the children that they had. They wanted every single child of theirs to feel that there would have a moment where they would always be heard. And that moment was going to be when they had a talking stick in their hand. So we don't have talking sticks at the SKIP program meetings. However, we do try to use that same theory of respect and attention when it comes to people sharing their thoughts, because we want every single student to feel like when they're in these meetings sharing their feelings that they are being heard. So we do have elements like that where we make sure when a student is speaking, everyone else is listening, and that is just one part of being respectful. So invitational rhetoric goes back to 1995, where Foss and Griffin coined the term in their article Beyond Persuasion, an approach to invitational rhetoric. It is a completely different way of defining the use of rhetoric, and we will get into that traditional definition and the way that it is evolved with invitational rhetoric. However, I do want to go into the four factors that Foss and Griffin said were required in order to have an invitational rhetoric environment. And those factors are 1, safety, 2, equality, 3, self-determination, and 4, imminent value. And I think that we've already gone over those 3, and the only one that we haven't really gone into is safety. However, safety is also rooted on that respect that we were talking about, which is Foss and Griffin believe that safety is born from trust, that one's perspectives will be received with respect and care. So we have already gone over that and how we allow these students to know that their thoughts are respected. So the difference between rhetoric as invitation, which is what our program is founded on, and rhetoric as persuasion, which is the traditional use of rhetoric. Traditionally, rhetoric has been used as a form of persuasion. It has been used by politicians, it has been used by celebrities, it has been used by people for many, many years, simply to change the minds of other individuals. And we have learned that this determination to dominate and control the beliefs of other people is really just a power struggle. And that is not going to facilitate what is needed in order for these students to open up and have these very delicate conversations, which is why our program is founded on the use of rhetoric as invitation, which facilitates mutual respect and equality that is needed in order for the participants to divulge their opinions and beliefs. And in the middle here, we can see if a person is committed to doing a particular thing, no matter the communication to which they're exposed, they likely will succeed. So, the role of a facilitator. Here we have 4 of our top facilitators. Our facilitators are very important to the program. They are actually quite essential. A facilitator is required in order to conduct a successful small focus group. The facilitator must be co-present with the participants, observing and making live off-the-cuff comments. So it's very important that the students know that we're not there to supervise. We're not there to babysit. We are there because we are just as interested in these conversations as they are. We also have something to learn from them. And it's very important that we are not only present physically, but we are present in conversation, and that we are listening and being attentive so that they feel respected and they feel like they want to share this information with you. A facilitator is not a neutral instrument, but an active participant, even if they may try to minimize their contributions. So we do not want you to dominate the conversation. You know, this is not obviously going to be you speaking to friends or anything like that. However, it is very important that they know that you are interested and that you are speaking and involved in the conversation. In no way do we want to dominate the conversation. No, we do want them to share and be very involved in these conversations. So the student's purpose: when the conditions to an invitational environment are met, they give way to facilitate the mutual respect and equality that is needed in order for participants to divulge their opinions and beliefs. The purpose of this exchange is to walk away with a deeper understanding of the other person's worldview. So we want these students to not only understand each other and perhaps widen their schools of thought and their areas of thinking, their perception of the world around them. We also want them to be aware that they're not alone in these struggles, that there are other students just like them who are facing similar conflicts, and that this is just a normal part about growing up. And we think that this has been very beneficial to many students who suffer with different issues where they don't feel like they are heard or that anyone else feels the way they are. We find that after these focus groups, students walk away feeling very validated and that they're not the only ones going through this. A skip volunteer. We appreciate student participation because we believe that we can also learn from them and their experiences. We also hope to make this world a better place, and I know that's why each and every one of you are here volunteering your time for this cause. We recognize that this next generation of young adults is our future, and of course we want to do everything that we can to help them succeed. In summary, a successful skip facilitator understands the methods of effectively using invitational rhetoric in the approach to sex education conversation with high school students. We are not trying to convince them to be abstinent. Instead, we are opening the floor to invitational rhetoric where they can all collaborate and grow based on a mutual respect and understanding for the other's experiences. So, on that note, I do want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you for seeing the value in this program. Thank you again for volunteering, and thank you for everything that you do to help our students succeed